Hello and welcome to the ThePapare.com breakdown where we analyze all the action that happened over the weekend of rugby. We had some outstanding games, 4 games in fact, and one of them was a 1 point game and one of them was a top of the table clash. We'll be talking about those two in just a little while, but we had games on Sunday as well. Sabir, Army played and then Police played, and both those teams coming up with wins.
Yeah, Army having a good win, especially they're smashing CHNFC 50 points to 6, 8 tries and 5 conversion, and the Gayan Salin, the fullback, he have put his 11 points and moving into the second place in the top point scorer table. And also the other game, Police versus Air Force, Shanaka, but Police are missing some key players. There's so much dramas going in the Police camp, so no Bilal Hassan due to injury, but no Riza Mohammed, no Riza Mubarak, no Mohammed Sharif or Terence Henry or even Chamar Dabare.
Yeah, there are lots of big names on the bench are not making the team sheet at Police. I'm sure there'll be a lot of consternation about that. The problem for them, of course, is that they don't really have a professional coach. They don't have somebody of that stature who can, handle these national level players. So that's something that Police have to think about. But for Army as well, the Aryapala brothers doing really well, and Army are going to be a force to be reckoned with going into the second round.
Second round, absolutely, because they put some good game against CRNFC. They were leading in the first round, in the first half, and also in the Police. Air Force had some few chances. It's only 7-0 in the first half, Shanaka, and they lost composure in the second half. So Police going into 3 more tries and ending up with a bonus point win.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that bonus point, especially with the positional changes that they had to make. Sudham Surya Rachi playing a good game at scrum half as well, so that will give options for the Police selection. So that's augurs well for the future for this Police team. Let's see what they can come up with next week. But then we had the big games on Saturday, Sabir. Navy coming to CRNFC is always a bit of a grudge battle. There's a lot of history between these sides, even though the history is short. But it ended up being an absolutely exciting game. The quality of rugby wasn't great, but it was really exciting. At 21-20, Navy deserved to win that.
Yeah, it is indeed. Even Navy beat CR last year as well, both home and away games. So they are like, with the talent, they're managing to survive. Like not saying he's not here on the team, he's not here, but they don't have much experience in the 3 quarters. But their forwards did really well, matching up the CR forwards, probably even better on that day, isn't it, Shanaka?
Yeah, it was, and without Omar Gunaratne at 8 as well, Nivanka Prasad, I thought, had an outstanding game at number 8, and then we had Danushka Pereira, who was also really good, playing against his old team, added motivation for Gertha, and then Yoshita Rajapaksa came and scored a try out of absolutely nowhere. He burned everybody to that try line, which is a real surprise to all of us. We thought Prince Shamara might catch up with him, but no chance. And that third row performance, I think, is what changed the game, because Sia lost Arun Kumar early on in the piece, and then they had to move Shamal Veerasekara to the flank position.
In fact, yeah,
and Sasanka Aryaratne is a good open side flanker, but without a number 8 and a proper blind side flanker, you were never going to be able to compete against the likes of Gertha, Yoshita and Prasad. So when Omalka Gunaratne comes back, that third row is going to get even better.
It will be interesting clash in Kandy. Also in that third row combination, Tariq Saleh, I think he joined the number 8 position, and he was held up on the break by Yoshita and Gertha Pereira. And also talking about Chanaka Chandimal's those kicks, Chanaka. Why is he giving position away? But Lee Eagle, fair enough, luck favored him because we don't know we can't pretend the bounce of the rugby ball. But that try that Lee Eagle scored, it was good, but it's not advised everyone to chip and run like that, isn't it?
Well, I don't think we can fault Navy because they came out to defend. And they were trying a tactic which didn't really work. I think they overcooked the kick. Chanaka Chandimal was kicking everything that came to his hand, and they were lucky because the tries that they scored were not created tries, they were breakaway tries. So when you come to defend Sabir, you're going to score tries like that. You're going to score untidy tries, you're going to pick up the ball and run 50 meters. Those are the sorts of tries you're going to score when you come out there with a defensive game plan and a plan to kick. So that was their plan, and on the day it worked. But I don't think it's going to work against Kandy. If you kick at Kandy, they're going to run it back at you all day. That's what Coach Nilofer Ibrahim is definitely going to have to think about, because you're not going to be able to play that same tactic against teams like Kandy. So I think they overcooked it and got lucky on the day, but CR didn't play well at all.
Absolutely, and it's very good, interesting to see Yoshita Rajapaksa running those meters. We mentioned that as a try of the week. You may agree, you may disagree, but that is something to look for. Where are Devin of CRNFC, the prop forward? He was in the corner of the pitch. What is he doing there?
Well, I think you can't blame Amila Bandaru who threw that long pass. He just looked up, saw a few men on the overlap, and he just threw it. I don't think he realized, he thought he was a winger, and if he was a winger, they would probably have caught that pass, because Devin is one who comes in on the angle. He's not running outside to look for that long ball. So It was a little bit of unstructured play from Sia, and that's exactly what we were talking about on commentary with Bilal as well. It was the fact that they had three phases planned out, and after that they didn't know what they were doing. So they had forwards in positions where the three quarters should be. They had first receivers as forwards, and that was the sort of lack of structure in their game that cost them the try and also meant they didn't score any tries.
Absolutely, and also that shows the poor quality of defense by Prince Shamra. He could have easily hold into Rajapaksa not allowing that try, or he could have easily chased him, but the gas was not enough. Also, he missed the last penalty, which he had a chance to cede it 23-22.
Well, Sia have a couple of problems. Sia fundamental problems. One is that Tarendra Rathwate is injured and they don't really have a fly-off. Ashan Dikosa is very experienced, but he's getting on a little bit and he's a little one-dimensional in the way that he chooses to play the game as well, because he's not taking it to the line as much as he used to. So with his form, I think they're really missing a fly-half. I think they're missing a number 8. Arun Kumar is a good player. He can take the ball up, but that's all he can do. He's not a line-out option. He doesn't offer anything more around the park. So I think they're better off using him as a hooker or maybe shifting Lahiru Pavitra to prop and using those options there in the front row. And they also have a problem with the place kicker, because once again Tarendra Rathwate being out means they have to play Prince Chamara, and Kanchan Ramanayaka not being fit means they have to play Chamara. And Chamara for me is a bench player. He's not a starting player in the club season just yet.
And also they are missing Rochan Hettiarachchi because he only played 8 to 10 minutes and he got a hamstring injury and he will probably be out in the next game. And also the next game, Shana, Candy versus Havelocks.
Yeah, what a cracking game it was built to be. It was top versus the second, and it was the two unbeaten teams meeting each other, Candy versus Heavies. But unfortunately for the Havelocks guys, look at the guys they've got out. They've got Hiranta Pereira out, they've got Tanushka Ranjan out, they've got Rehan Thiagaraja out, and those three backs alone would have made a massive difference on the day. So unfortunate for Coach Laga that he's got to deal with so many injuries, and the inexperience of Kevin Dixon, of Nishan Pereira, it did show, Sabir. And although the score was only 18 points to 8, I think the gap between the two teams was much more than 10 points on the day.
Yeah, both the forwards, both Havelocks and Candy forwards, they scored tries in pretty much most all the matches, but only this game where the forwards could not make a try, Shanaka. And also, but Candy forwards just little edge passer than the Havelocks forward on that night. Also, talking about Roshan Veeratna's game management, Shanaka, did you look at the box kicks that he's making? Not only on his own territory, but even in the 50-meter mark, he puts Kevin Dixon and Nishan Pereira in tremendous pressure where Damit Dissanayake chases all those kicks.
Well, I think they had made a real plan against Havelocks. I think they realized that the backline had been really upset, so Nishan and Kevin were the targets. So Roshan Veeratna is an experienced man. He knows that his chase is good. He knows that Richard Dharmapala is going to chase that down all day. He knows Lavanga Pereira is going to chase them down all day. And in Sri Lankan rugby, honestly, Sabir, if you can get your kick right and your chase right, you can win most of your matches. And that's exactly what happened to Havelocks the other day. They got under pressure and couldn't recover from that. I think they were a little unfortunate as well. At least one try perhaps that was disallowed that maybe should have gone their way. They didn't get the rub of the green on those days. 50-50 calls which could have gone this way, could have gone that way. But Candy on the whole, I think, deserved to win that.
And also Shenal Dyer's impact. He's stolen 3 lineouts, so he put Damit Dissanayake under tremendous pressure, winning all those lineouts in the first half, Shanaga.
Yeah, I think it was a problem in both games, Sabit. We saw in the Candy Navy, the CR Navy game and the Candy Heavies game, the team's almost guaranteed of winning the other person's ball. So I think that's a problem with the coaching. I think if you go back home and the rugby committees look at these games, they've got to ask their coaches, look, why are we not able to win our own ball even at number 2? And that's something that is a real problem for Sri Lanka rugby as a whole, and the top 4 clubs or 4 of the top clubs can't win their own line-out ball. That's just not acceptable. But Shanal Dyas, I think he made an impact in the tight. I think they wanted him to hang a little loose and maybe take a few players on one-on-one. But I don't think Havies had the game plan to be able to put him into space.
Absolutely. Certainly Ranjan is a missing factor on that, also Niroshan Fernando. But for Candy, Vishwamitra Jayasinghe played a very good game. Also Lavanga Pereira, he played as a centre, but he made some few yards. Also Gayan Veeratna, once again his lovely offloads coming into action. And also we went to some referees' criticism. Arnaran Kotge on this game, he made like few decisions correct, and although he had a good leadership or good management on the game, but he controlled the game nicely. I think that's the word I should use. But few occasions where he went missing, where Dushmanta Priyadarshini scored the try, and also that tap tackle by Richard Dharmapal on Hiranta Pereira. I think he gave a penalty because not falling on or releasing the ball. So it's not right. Also, the Nishant Pereira's try.
I thought Nishant Pereira's try was a 50-50 call. We didn't have the camera angle on the day to be able to say definitely whether the ball went forward or not. And he asked the touch judge. The touch judge had a good view of it, and that's when we have to accept the referee's decision, because the process has been right and the decision-making process is what we expect, and that's. I have no problems with
And even the players looked like they accepted the decision on that occasion.
Because
Yeah.
Nishant Pereira, he got up and then he just shrugged his shoulders and walked back, because I think he knew something was up. And then you've got Dushmantha Priyadarshana's try. It was purely a case of not being sighted. And sometimes when you don't know where the ball is going to come from, Sabir, you've got to sometimes guess a little bit and say, okay, the ball is going to this guy. I've got to watch it from this angle. And there's no book written as to how to do that. So unfortunately, when Dushmantha Priyadarshana touched it down on the line, referee Rankotke was behind the Kandy defense, and that's why he couldn't see it. And by the time he came round, somebody had already kicked the ball away. So that was quite smart of the Kandy players. But perhaps he should have asked his touch judge, who might have had a clearer view of the situation. So those were a couple of issues, I thought. And Hiranta Pereira's sin binning, I thought there was no tackle made there because Richard Dharmapala tapped him, so there's no complete tackle, so he can get up and go. And with that momentum, Havelocks might have scored there. So you never know. These are the things that happen in rugby.
And also, it's good on the other hand that referee Rankotke trying to become like a Nigel Owens, because he was a Sandhu Herath made a late tackle on Srinath Surya Bandara. Then came Jamaldeen after the whistle, and he was telling Marija, I'll do my job. It depends on situation. So it's good that referees are communicating and explaining the situation, isn't it?
Well, yes, I think referee coach Garrett Williamson had told the referees not to concentrate too much on talking during play. But when things like that happen, and when players come and question, say, why did that happen, it is really important that you communicate. And what we have noticed recently, Sabir, is that forget whether the calls are right or wrong, the decision-making process has been better, and you can see the response from the players is also much better to the referees compared to the years gone by, where you had referees, you had players sometimes openly just shaking their head and criticizing the referees' decisions. Now the acceptance of the referee's decision and the respect has gone up a notch.
Absolutely, that's spot on. Also, those are the 4 matches we had in the week 6, and moving on to the points table, Shanak, as you can see on your screen.
Yeah, well, no team is unbeaten except Kandy, of course, and those guys have played 6 games, won 6 already. They've got a big game coming up against Navy next week. That'll be an important one in Nithavala. So very difficult to catch them at this present moment unless they have a really bad second round. Havelocks in second position. Navy will be looking to try and take that from them. CRNFC in 4th, and I think they've been lucky because the teams below them have not been playing some great rugby. Army on the ascendancy. I think they might be challenging for 4th place. Police and Air Force and CH, of course, CH have had a dismal time so far, but Air Force and Police are better teams than that. I'm sure they would want to move up in that table, Sabir, but for the moment, Kandy looking untouchable.
Yes, indeed, and it'll be interesting Kandy Navy clash next week at Nithavala. And also, as you can see on the screen, the top point scorer and the try scorer are Arshad Jamaldeen with 57, and Army's Gayan Salim there after 11 points against CHNFC. He moved to 56. That will be interesting when it comes to next week. And also, Air Force Noan Pereira has scored 51, and of course, Bilal Hassan have 8 tries and 40 points. Yoshita Rajapaksa 7 tries, 35, and Fazil Marja at 3rd place with 6 tries.
And I think that Bilal hasn't played 2 games, I think.
Yeah, 2 games. So he have scored 8 tries with only 4 games.
And Yoshita Rajapaksa coming up strong, so I think Bilal better watch out of his own old teammate.
That'll be interesting. And also week 7, final week predictions.
Well, Kandy versus Navy, I think Kandy are going to be a little too strong, but given the way Navy concentrated on their defense, Sabir, I don't know. Tilina Veerasinghe had an outstanding game against CRNFC at fullback, and I think if he's tested, he will pass that test much better than the Havelocks back 3 or the Kandy back three did. So I think that's going to be an interesting battle. Tiruna Veerasinghe could be the key to that tussle, but I will still have to, especially at Nittawala, still give Kandy the favourite stack there. Army versus Police going to be a really interesting game. I would love to watch that one, and that one at the Army grounds in Thiagama. But at home, Army might just be a little too strong. I think Police may not be playing as a team together, and Air Force in Ratmalana as well for Sierra FC. That's going to be a tough game too. I don't think Sierra are going to have it easy, especially with that wind that blows in one direction at that ground at Ratmalana. Sierra FC might not have it easy, but they should scrape through as winners, and Havelocks will easily beat CH on Friday.
Alright, that's all we have for the Week 6 breakdown segment, and until next time, I'm Sabir Kad along with Shanaka signing off for ThePapare.com.